Do you think that hoes can never be turned into housewives?
Okay, I'll answer that question. Once women hit a certain status of man, I don't think women are stupid. I actually argue the fact that women have a beautiful intuition. Women, to a degree, their intuition is truly almost psychic. The number of times I've come home and she's like, "You were cheating." And I was like, "How the fuck did she know I'm fucking cheating?" And it's real. You guys are smart. And if they get to a certain echelon of man, they're not going to go anywhere because there's nowhere else to go. They're going to get to a guy eventually. They're going to stop at the buck and go, "You know what? Where am I going to surpass this specimen? So I'm just going to behave for him." So you can turn a hoe into a housewife that way.
You're going first every time.
Oh my goodness.
We're putting the pressure on you.
Oh my goodness. Obviously you can, because I have seen it happen. I mean, my Instagram has been blowing up with all these engagement rings of girls that I never would have thought anyone would have the audacity to marry. But you know what? Sometimes you can move away and settle down and no one knows you there. So you meet someone that doesn't know anything about you or what you did.
That scares the shit out of me.
Yep.
That's so scary to
They
think
don't know
that
your
you could
past.
move to a new town and pick up a girl and she could have the craziest past and you would never know.
Yeah,
That's scary.
No, she obviously didn't choose to share it, but yeah, I mean, I feel like eventually, don't know what that's like, but I feel like eventually you reach a point where you're like, maybe I do want to settle down and have a family, and then some guy is there willing to give you that. You know, there's a lot of people out there, so I mean, there's a match for everyone. Like literally the one girl that I thought would never, ever, ever get married got married like a year ago. So, I mean, anything's possible.
So, first off, shout out to Pearl. She's a queen. She's doing amazing work. Pearl is the lady that was in the clip. Okay, so can you turn a 304 into a housewife? Yeah, you 100% can, but why would you? First off,
I think it depends on your level of status as well. Like some guys can own, that's the level that's their pecking order. Like that's all they can get at the time.
Yeah, okay, that's a good point because a lot of the lower value guys have no other choice but to settle for a girl that is a 304.
So maybe for her story, that dude was a low value dude. That's all he could get. Maybe he's just like, fuck it, got it figured out with her.
I mean, he was most definitely already balding.
Poor guy.
Poor guy. So I anything's possible in this world. Wifing up a 304. The queen of the 304s, Kim Kardashian, got wifed up by Kanye West. That's a flex. I don't know how that one happened. But look what happened in the results. One of the most dominant men on this earth got wrecked wifing up a 304. If you don't know what a 304 is, Google it. Most people are going to know.
I just got it through context clues, but I've never heard that before until I saw that video.
Yeah.
But you know that girl that's in the video as well? I think her name's Brittany. She's like the top of the top 304s, I guess, at the moment.
She's one of the trending ones.
But I mean,
she didn't argue that whole. She was okay. Perfect example. A girl will revert to her natural feminine role mindset when she's put next to a high value guy. If you watch her on every other podcast, she's just running her mouth loud, chest out, like almost acting like a guy. She didn't raise her voice once in that podcast. Every time Tate spoke, she just sat back and listened and absorbed everything that he said. And it was almost like you could tell the level of respect that she was giving him. And she does that with almost nobody else.
Yeah, it was a very interesting podcast. I definitely would say you guys go watch it. Aside from after you finish this video, watch the clips. But go back and watch the whole thing. There's a lot of good stuff in there. It was pretty eye-opening to see like how, because what did they have? An elderly lady, and then they had two total chicks from total different sides of the spectrum all going. It was like they built the perfect panel on that podcast. So,
Pearl's smart. She knows what she's doing.
Shout out Pearl. You want to move on?
Yeah.
Any other? You want to touch on that?
I cannot. I was a little taken off guard when he admitted he would be out cheating.
Yeah, I think that clip's coming up.
Okay. Let's touch on this too. He mentioned something about a girl's spirituality. I think that's absolutely 100% accurate. Men aren't the best when it comes to spirit, like spiritual senses, spiritual intelligence. Women are just on a whole nother level for it. Like, you know, I think the most important job of a woman is to protect a man's spirit and lift the spirit up. And the most important role for a man is to make sure the woman can walk the earth unharmed and protected and provided for. That's actually an old Cherokee proverb. Yeah, and women are very powerful when it comes to just being spiritual. Like there'd be days where I'm just wrecked, and one of my female friends says, "Hey, you okay? You need to take a break."
Yeah, they just know. It's pretty
like
crazy.
Before I even open my mouth, I'll walk through the door, and one of my friends will just say, "You need to go take like a 5-minute breather." I'll just be like, I just literally walked through the door, and they could just feel the presence.
Feel the energy. We feel the energy.
Yeah.
Hey, To each their own. I guess they got something going we don't.